When you hear the word technology, what comes to mind? Fire, the wheel, the printing press, the iPhone, the internet, whatever. Tools and machines that changed everything. But what if the greatest technological innovation in human history wasn't mechanical at all, but moral? Technology, at its core, is any tool, system, or framework that radically reshapes how humans live and cooperate. By that definition, Christianity is the most transformative technology humanity has ever created. It was more than a religion, it was, and still is, a moral operating system, a software upgrade for humanity that rewired law, politics, economics, and even science. C.S. Lewis put it pretty simply: I believe in Christianity as I believe that the sun has risen, not only because I see it, but because by it I see everything else. Christianity just didn't give us faith, it gave us the future. To understand the revolution, we need to take a step back to the Roman Empire. Rome was, by all accounts, magnificent. Its aqueducts, roads, architecture, and armies purely unmatched. But it was also extremely brutal. Power was absolutely everything. Nearly one third of the Romans were slaves. Women were second class citizens. Children were disposable. Unwanted babies were often left to die, especially girls. Gladiatorial games entertained the masses with blood. Mercy was weakness. Pity was shameful. Seneca, the Roman philosopher, once wrote, "We drown children who at birth are weakly and abnormal." That was the status quo. This was the world Christianity entered, and it flipped the script entirely. Christianity proclaimed that every person was made in the image of God. Every life had value. Paul wrote in Galatians, "There is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither slave nor free, there is neither male nor female, for you are all one in Jesus Christ." This was more than just a social revolution. It was something completely unthinkable. As historian Tom Holland has argued, Christianity utterly transformed the world. Rome glorified dominance. Christianity glorified service. Rome discarded the weak. Christianity protected them. This wasn't just private faith, it was a public revolution. So, what made Christianity a technology? And again, these are tenets that I think reflect that Christianity is, in fact, a technology, and I boiled it down to four. The first, universalism. Most ancient religions were tribal, local, tied to ethnicity or land. Christianity declared itself for all nations. That made it infinitely scalable. The second would be intrinsic dignity. If every person is made in the image of God, then every life is sacred. That is the principle that seeded abolition, human rights, and democracy centuries later. The third is reimagining power. Rome celebrated the strong crushing the weak. Christianity said the meek shall inherit the earth. It recoded the value system of society. And the fourth would be practical infrastructure. Christians didn't just believe, they built churches, monasteries, hospitals, and orphanages. Christianity created organizations that carried culture forward. Sociologist Rodney Stark argues this is why Christianity outlasted dozens of other sects. It doesn't just preach ideals, it engineered institutions, birthing the Western Empire. If Western culture is defined by its concern for the vulnerable, that seed was planted by Christianity. Many religions prior offered sacrifices to gods, but it offered nothing to the poor, the sick, or the abandoned. Christianity changed that fundamentally. From its earliest days, Christians fed the hungry, rescued the exposed infants, and cared for widows. During plagues, when pagan elites fled the cities, Christians stayed and served. Dionysius of Alexandria, describing the plague in the 3rd century, wrote, "Most of our brothers Christians showed us unbound love and loyalty, never sparing themselves. Heedless of danger, they took charge of the sick, attending to their every need." The ethic of sacrificial care was not just charity. It became the blueprint for Western institutions. By the 4th century, Christians had invented hospitals, hospices, and organized systems of welfare. Pagan temples had altars now. Christianity built hospitals. The very concept of an institutional safety net, something we now see as quintessential to a humane society, was a Christian invention in itself. Western culture also rests upon its reverence for knowledge, and again, this is Christian to the core. Despite what some cynical postmodernist would tell you, When the Roman Empire collapsed, literacy nearly vanished, but monasteries became the hard drives of Europe, preserving ancient texts and ideas. Without Christian scribes, Aristotle, Cicero, and Virgil would have been lost to time. St. Benedict's rule required that monks read, copy, and preserve text. This was not accidental, it was intentional cultural engineering, and it worked. Out of cathedral schools grew the first universities: Paris, Bologna, Oxford, all founded by the church. The university system, the crown jewel of Western learning, is a Christian invention. Why? Because Christians believed that truth mattered. Augustine declared, "All truth is God's truth." To study nature was not to rebel against faith, like you see in Islam, but it's to study the mind of God. Modern science, often mischaracterized as a rebellion against Christianity, was in reality birthed by it. Christians believed that the universe was rational because it was created by a rational God. If creation was orderly, then humans could study it and understand it. Historian Alfred North Whitehead famously argued, "Faith in the possibility of science is an unconscious derivative from medieval theology." This explains why modern science emerged in Christian Europe, and not in Rome, China, or the Islamic world, despite their significant sophistication. Christianity uniquely insisted that the universe was lawful, knowledgeable, and worth investigating. Galileo called mathematics the language in which God had written the universe. Kepler said he was thinking God's thoughts after him. Newton declared, "This most beautiful system of the suns, planets, and comets could only be proceeded from the counsel and dominion of an intelligent being." Science was not born in spite of Christianity. It was born because of Christianity. Western notions of freedom and rights are also rooted directly in Christianity. Canon law, aka the church's legal system, became the first comprehensive legal code in the West. From it grew modern jurisprudence. Historian Brian Tierney called medieval canon lawyers the true inventors of human rights. Christian principles also seeded natural law theory, the idea that universal morals, truths bind all people together, even kings. Think of the Magna Carta. This was revolutionary. It became the soil in which constitutionalism and democracy grew from. Economically, Christianity sanctified labor. Benedictine monasteries lived by a motto, ora et laboria. I might have mispronounced that, but it means pray and work. Work was no longer degrading, it was sacred. Medieval debates over fair wages, just prices, and the condemnation of exploitation all flowed from Christian ethics. Later, Max Weber argued the Protestant ethic, discipline, honesty, and stewardship, sparked modern capitalism. Whether one accepts Weber's thesis or not, the influence of Christians' thought on Western economics is undeniable. When the West confronted its greatest moral crises, Christianity provided the moral weapons to slay them. The abolition of slavery, Wilberforce and the Chatham sect fought relentlessly, driven by evangelical faith. Wilberforce declared, "So enormous, so dreadful, so irredeemable did the trade's wickedness appear, that my own mind was completely made up. I would never rest until I had effected its abolition," in reference to slavery. The American Civil Rights Movement, Martin Luther King Jr., a Baptist preacher, thundered, "Let justice roll down like waters, and righteousness like a mighty stream." Even today, the very language of human rights, dignity, equality, justice, flows directly from Christian theology. Historian Larry Seidentop put it bluntly, "If we in the West do not understand the moral depth of our Christian inheritance, we will inevitably lose it." And that is completely evident in the postmodernist idea that the individual themselves is now a god. And yet today, many insist that we live in a post-Christian world. But the irony is that even secular humanism rests completely on Christian assumptions. Atheists speak of equality, compassion, and justice as if they are natural or innate. But in nature, they're not. In the ancient world, they weren't. Even during Christianity's rule, they haven't been. Nietzsche saw that with brutal clarity. When he wrote God is dead, he didn't mean atheism had triumphed. He meant that the West was trying to keep Christian morality while cutting away its foundation. His warning: cut the roots and the tree dies. Here's the thought experiment I want you to think of. Imagine a world without Christianity. No hospitals, no universities, no abolition movement, no human rights. A world where strength is virtue, and the weak are disposable, and pity is shameful. Is that a world you would like to live in? Without Christianity, it could still be us. Think of the greatest technologies in history. Fire gave us survival. The wheel gave us movement. The printing press gave us knowledge. The internet gave us connection. All of those transformed humanity. Each one individually was groundbreaking, but none of them reshaped our moral universe. Fire didn't declare every human life sacred. The wheel didn't abolish slavery. The printing press didn't invent hospitals. And the internet didn't create human rights. Only Christianity did that. It is the one technology that didn't just change what humans do, it changed what humans were. Christianity is not just a relic of the past, it's the very foundation of Western civilization. It created hospitals, universities, and welfare systems. It birthed science, shaped law, and sanctified labor. It also inspired abolition and civil rights movements throughout the entire world, starting with the British. Even now, its assumptions, human dignity, freedom, equality, are all the invisible architecture of our culture that many people don't even care to think about. Chesterton once wrote, "The Christian ideal has not been tired and found waiting. It has been found difficult and left untired." The wheel gave us movement, the internet gave us connection, but Christianity gave us meaning, morality, and justice. It is the very operating system of Western civilization itself. Not just faith, not just history. It is the greatest technology of all. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it. Like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments if you agree, or if you disagree. I don't care. I'm here to read. And if you have any video ideas, drop them below.